The holidays. This is a time of year when our homes fill up quickly, our minds feel full, and our schedules get tighter and tighter as it gets closer to the big day. If you've been feeling that quiet sense of pressure, whether it's decisions, emotions, or just extra things coming into your home, this is for you. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my Calm Clarity for the Holidays and the New Year offer. And this is a simple guided session just for you with me on Zoom where we slow things down, settle your mind, and help you find your next step so the season feels lighter and the new year. Today, I'm sharing one of the most downloaded episodes on the podcast. Episode 78, all about buying and how small moments of stress or distraction can quietly add clutter to our homes. I'm bringing it back as an updated edition because so many of us walk into the holidays already feeling stretched. And if you're hearing this for the first time, if you've just discovered Organize with Grace, welcome. I came up with the topic of impulse buying. And I titled this, How to Win Against Being Tempted to Buy on Impulse. So let me start with a story. A couple of months ago, I was so proud of myself for making it to the post office for the sole purpose of mailing my passport renewal application. And it has taken me a while to do this. I think my passport was expired like a year or so. And so even though I'm not looking to travel out of the country anytime soon, I felt like it was really important to have an active passport. And so that day I was in line, and along the wall, it looked, in my perspective, like I see this wall with all of these greeting cards, and it felt like spotlights were on it. And I found a couple of cards that I thought were super cute. One was like a 10-pack of thank you cards, and the other said like, "You're awesome." So kind of like an encouragement type of card. And they looked so cute. See, I am a sucker for stationery. And again, I went to the post office for a specific reason and came out with, you guessed it, 2 packs of cards that cost me a total of about $16. Now, did I need these? No, not really. I have a box full of greeting cards that I have, of course, unused. And so, were these an impulse buy? Certainly. So what exactly is the definition of an impulse buy? According to the Cambridge Dictionary, it is something that you buy suddenly and without thinking carefully. And a blog post I found from nerdwallet.com that says that impulse buying means that you purchase something without planning to do so beforehand. And they gave an example, like if you're at the grocery store, you bought a gallon of milk, which is on your list, is not an impulse buy. The candy bar that you throw into your cart on a whim after spotting it on the shelves in the checkout line is an impulse buy. So according to this definition, my purchasing the greeting cards is most definitely an impulse buy. And the blog post goes on to say that impulse buying often involves an external trigger, says Kerry Rattle, a New York-based financial therapist and coach. Maybe that trigger is a sale or ad, for example, or perhaps you simply see the item in the store, on social media, or in the hands of your cool friend and suddenly want to have it. Now, was there anything inherently wrong about me picking up these greeting cards? No, I wanted them, and so I got them. I picked it up. And I'm glad I did, and I believe that I can use it in the future. So just know that this is not about making you or me feel bad about impulse buying. Instead, I want to bring awareness that impulse buying, if done often enough, contributes to clutter. And that's what we want to prevent. It's very tricky and it's very subtle because you're slowly but surely accumulating all of these little items and bringing them into your home, which now for me, I'm beginning to consider my home, the square footage, as expensive real estate. And wait a minute, I live here in California, so I don't even have to try to imagine my home as expensive real estate. It is expensive real estate. And I think it's pretty much across the board all over the nation right now that everything continues to go up, including the prices of homes. And I don't want to bring in anything that would clutter it up even more. Now, I'm not saying that I'm totally clutter free, but thankfully I have gained the skills to be able to declutter on a regular basis. And you can too. You know, you can do the same. You can, these are skills that we can get sharper in. These are skills that we can obtain. So it's great. All right. So back to those 2 packs of greeting cards that I bought on impulse, that I really had no justification for it. And now I'm responsible for these things and need to find a place for them. Now, fortunately, I do have a place for them along with my other greeting cards in a box. So it's in a plastic bin. So just know that this is not about making you or me feel bad about impulse buying. My belief is that impulse buying, if done often enough, contributes to clutter. And that's what we want to prevent. It's very tricky and it's very subtle because you're slowly but surely accumulating all of these little items and bringing them into your home, which now for me, I'm beginning to consider my home, the square footage, as expensive real estate. And I don't want to bring in anything that would clutter it up even more. Now, I'm not saying that I'm totally clutter free, but thankfully I have gained the skills to be able to declutter on a regular basis. And you can too. You know, you can do the same. You can, these are skills that we can, get sharper in. These are skills that we can obtain. So it's great. All right. So back to those 2 packs of greeting cards that I bought on impulse, that I really had no justification for it. And now I'm responsible for these things and need to find a place for them. Now, fortunately, I do have a place for them along with my other greeting cards in a box. So it's in a plastic bin. I don't impulse buy as often as I used to. Through time, it took years, mind you, it took years. Through time, I have become more mindful of what I am buying. And I used to think that that would like take away the fun of shopping, but it turns out that it's actually more fun when you take home an item that you really want and that you really need instead of an item you just bought because you felt like it at the moment. Oh, hey, I just want to take a quick pause before we go on to the rest of the episode. When I think about an incident like this, when we're rushing, overwhelmed, or trying to do too many things all at once, it's usually because our minds feel full. And that's really where calm clarity sessions help. It's simply a quiet moment for you to breathe, get grounded, and make choices from a calmer place. And I would love to have you join me in it. And it's a one-on-one session. And I wanted to plant the seed as you listen. Okay, I'll let you get back to the episode. So I like to look up different articles before recording a podcast, and I found one from Psychology Today titled, this is a blog post, I believe. So it says, "What motivates impulse buying?" And the writer says that personality, pleasure, and product connections can all lead to impulse buys. And he goes on to provide some tips on how to. So in this article, he goes on to say that some people have a habit of making impulse purchases. And then there are those who like to shop for fun, they're more likely to buy on impulse. And also being connected to a product or a brand is also a motivator. So it's an interesting blog post. And he, in the end, he goes on to say an easy way to tell. So he gives a tip here. An easy way to tell if a purchase is impulse is to ask, did I plan to buy this or did I get the urge to buy it just now? And he says, if you didn't plan to buy it, you're probably experiencing an impulse buying urge. By putting that product back on the shelf and refusing to purchase it, you're doing something to help yourself. You're rejecting the idea that by purchasing that product, you'll be happier, better respected, or more complete. In so doing, you'll not only get to keep more of your money, but you'll become a smarter consumer and possibly a happier person. And then I found other articles that provided you with other tips. Oh, have a list when you go, or there was something else, I forget. But there is something that I want to tell you about impulse buying that hopefully will help you. And before I tell you about it, I want to say that it's a relief, though, to know that it's a common thing. It's a common behavior that we all have, and that we don't need to, if we've impulse bought, we don't need to beat ourselves up over it. But at the same time, if it's happening more often, perhaps we should check in with ourselves and, take a look at why we are continuing to impulse buy. All right. As I mentioned, I used to do a lot of impulse buying, and I believe that it really contributed to my credit card debt that accumulated to about $17,000 of credit card debt, which has since been paid off for a while now. Thank God. And so the stuff I used to purchase on impulse were books, pens, journals, greeting cards, clothes, and shoes. Now, why am I telling you this? Is because today I can use this list as a tool for me to be able to tell if, like, there is something that I'm picking up that I'm truly buying on impulse. Okay, this list is what I commonly would pick up. Therefore, it'll remind me that no, I don't necessarily need these items. And I can either put it back or think about whether or not I really want it instead of just buying it on a whim and not really think about it. So, when we begin to practice self observation, I believe that it'll help us pause and be more aware of what it is that we're picking up and possibly decrease our, the clutter that is coming into our homes. Okay, so here's another tip on how to win against being tempted to buy on impulse. Have you ever heard of the acronym HALT? So that's HALT, HALT. So let me tell you what it stands for. It stands for hunger, anger, loneliness, and tired. I think that's what it is, but I may have butchered it. But I would rather think of it as a current either state of mind or feeling or physiological state. So hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. So if you become aware that you may be picking up something that you did not plan, you can quickly check in with yourself and say, am I just picking up this Snicker bar because I'm hungry? Or am I going out shopping because I'm angry about something? Or am I just feeling lonely? And that is why I'm impulse buying or going out shopping? Or am I picking this item up because I'm feeling tired? So these are good, I guess you can say, like markers. These are good ways to check in with yourself. And while the practical steps or practical tips of like making yourself a list, which is great. And then also asking yourself questions like, did I plan to buy this or did I get the urge to buy it just now? I feel like if we were to try to remember this acronym, HALT, it will hopefully help us to pause and say, am I just hungry? Am I just angry? Am I just lonely? Am I just tired? And could these be the reasons why I'm picking up this item on impulse? And another thing I want to tell you is that give yourself grace when you have impulse bought. Name it, call it an impulse buy, but don't beat yourself up over it. What's bought is bought, of course, unless you can return it. And that's perfectly fine. I return lots of items. I think my husband and I are like return kings and queens. He's more than me. He's great at returning things that he doesn't want. And so when you realize that you don't need it, you can easily return it. But if you cannot, don't beat yourself up. Don't feel bad. Just know that you are more aware than you were before. And the next time you're in a situation where you want to impulse buy, just try to remember these tips. And I would love to know if they work for you. Let me know. You can email me, grace@organizewithgrace.com. And I hope that this was helpful. And I just love talking about practical ways that we can implement, practical actions that we can implement to prevent more clutter in our homes. And again, your home is high real estate. You should have things that you love and things that give you, your surroundings should give you peace and a lot of, like a breather. You should be coming home to your home and rest instead of thinking, oh my goodness, I have to organize this and that and this and that. Although that happens, we have to, it's an ongoing thing that we must do to keep up with the incoming things that enter our homes. But anyway, yeah, let me know if this was helpful. The best way to connect with me is grace@organizewithgrace.com. And I thank you so much for staying with me and I hope that you enjoyed this episode. And that, my friend, is episode 78, replayed just for you. And if you're finding yourself feeling super extended before even Christmas hits, I want to invite you into a space that's just for you this season. I mentioned it earlier. It's called a Calm Clarity Session, and this will be, of course, a holiday edition. And this is a quiet, guided time for you and me to slow down, calm your nervous system a bit, untangle what feels heavy, and help you find your next step. And this one is nothing intense, nothing pressured, just a moment to breathe and begin again. Whatever your projects may be, wherever you're at, I am going to meet you there. If you've been feeling overwhelmed or you're ready for a calmer holiday season, perhaps the new year, you want to really make a change that would finally put a dent into what you have been wanting to do, which is to live with less. You can book your Calm Clarity session through the link I provide in the podcast description. Now give yourself this gift, one calm moment inside this busy season. And if you're wondering what to get yourself, this is it. All right. And I hope to meet with you soon. And I'll meet you right here on this podcast very soon.